మనుషులు ఉంటారా అక్కడ? స్టార్ట్ స్ట్రీమింగ్ చేశాను. So is it, how do I know students are there, not there? Okay, fine. YouTube, huh? Sorry. Okay, fine. YouTube lo niche. Okay. So I should start chasing. Is it unclear? Okay. No, just see if I am available. Am I available? Am I audible there? Just check it out. And second thing is, yeah, fine. And the second, how many students are there? Any idea? Mm-hmm. And to change my this thing, I have to just change the page, kada? Simple. Okay, fine. Thanks. That's fine. I'll so should I start now? Start recording. Okay, bye. So good morning, everybody. I think in the next 45 odd minutes, let's understand what makes one a very successful manager. The fact that you guys are coming in the morning on a Sunday at 11:15, I think it clearly shows that there is some kind of an importance that you give to this session, and I am expecting that at the end of this session you will be having some kind of an idea of what is required to be successful, not just as a manager, but also a successful career itself in the first place. So that is going to be the basic theme of my PPT today. But let me start that a lot of people don't know about whether an MBA is good or bad. You will see that in 2016-17, close to half of the MBA graduates were not placed. This is the lowest in MBA placement seasons over the last so many years. I think the last time it was so bad was only in 2008, 2009 because of the crash. If you remove the top 20 colleges, only 7% of the management graduates got a job just after completion of the course. And not only that, some of these quality of the jobs were pathetic. They were not managers, they were at the levels of executives, pretty low pay, and more often than not, bad work environment. Why is that happened? Let's look at the reasons for that. The reasons are not very difficult to understand. The basic reason has always been the problem of plenty. There are too many business schools in the country. I'm talking only of India, forget about any other country as such. Just India has more than 4,000 plus B schools. B schools, we call it as business schools. 3.5 lakh thousand students graduate every year. Graduate in the sense through the MBA. Whatever you call it, MBA, PGDM, PGPM, whatever that you call it. The reason is because anybody who has certain amount of money can do an MBA, and unfortunately the reason why there are so many business schools is a few crores one can start a business school. So therefore, I think it is very important to realize why people have been unsuccessful. If you remember what you did in your school, especially before you were 6th and 7th, I think there was a lot of enthusiasm that you guys had. Most of us ask a lot of questions. Why? What is the reason why something is being done on a regular basis? But as you grow in your career, especially in your schools, 8th, 9th, and by the time you come to the 10th standard, I think all learning goes out of the window. It's all about how do I get my marks? Even worse is the case with 11th and 12th, where you are scrambling to get the marks so that you get good graduate colleges. Either you go for your engineering entrances, law entrances, BBA entrances, etc. kind of things. I think that is the basic failing in the entire education system, that the education system is not making people think anymore, nor it is skilling the students except for by hearting a little. Some of them get the mathematical skills and the English skills on their own, but beyond that, trust me, almost nobody has these kind of skills. When you're talking about 1 crore people coming into the market every year, by the way, that's the kind of a birth rate we have. Out of a 125 crore Indian population, almost every year you have 1.25 crores coming in. When you guys were born too, there are about 1 crore people coming in. Not everybody even graduates. In fact, there's about 30 lakh graduates combining the both engineering and non-engineering. Only 10% of them do their MBA. Ideally, this should be very, very good. But as you can see, there has been a problem in terms of how people have not learned, and only the very, very top few from the IITs, the IIMs, the NITs and top schools in the country have got what we call it a good placement as such. That one, if you understand, and it is not that 3,500 students are not required for an MBA. Mind you, probably this country requires a lot more people, a lot more MBA graduates itself, lot more graduates itself. Understand that we are a very small per capita income country. We are still 2,000 crores, whereas our China is close to 10,000 crores, 5 times. So even if we don't want to compare ourselves with the Europes and the USs of the world, where the population is less and the per capita income is therefore higher, GDP is higher, I am talking about even comparing ourselves with China, you will find that we are still way behind. And I think there is a reason for that. Certain skills that we need to learn at school level or the college level is not getting done. And I think that is the failing of our system, and somewhere we need to correct it. Somewhere we need to correct it as early as possible. Just 1 second, I will try to look at getting in if there are any questions that I can answer as we go along in this particular thing. Okay, I'm just going to switch the account so that just a second, guys. So what we do really is to ensure that over the next 2 years that you have, you maximize your output so that you have a very, very successful career. I think that is what makes life and career worth pursuing too. Let's look at one more reasons why we do not do well. As I said, the rot starts at the graduation system. Most of us don't even remember what happened in our entire graduation. We don't remember how to even apply them. I think that is going to be a very, very important part. I'm not able to see the questions if they're coming in. John, if you're seeing it, you'll have to please help me on this, or maybe answer those questions yourself, if you're sitting there. But let me continue with this. See, one of the basic problems at the B schools also is that most of the professors are alumni not from the IIMs or the IITs, but from not so great B schools. If you leave out the IIMs, if you leave out the top MBA schools, maybe the top 30, 40 of them, the rest of them have a PhD, all right, but they don't do anything great. Second, more importantly, I think most of these professors at the business schools have not worked at the corporates. MBA, unlike anything else in the world, is not a degree. It's a business administration course which will help you to understand how to run a business. So when you're talking about how to run a business, I think there is zero doubt about it in my mind that you know, or the person who's teaching you should know how to run the business in the first place. He should know the pitfalls of the business. He should understand what is meant by a cash flow and how it affects the growth of an organization or the process of an organization or the outcome of a, let's say, business school itself, like Vanguard Business School. And then, only then will you really learn. Theories are there for the asking. There are too many theories which are available. But the fact of the matter remains that unless you do a real learning at the business school from the right kind of people, you are going to waste the 2 years of your MBA and therefore the next 30 years of your career also, or learn on your own. More often than not, when you are doing your 2 years of MBA, you hardly have great corporate connect. Obviously, I am not discussing about the IIMs or the XLRIs and the MDIs of the world, SPJs of the world. But clearly, I think the business school and the students do not have a close connect with the corporates. They don't understand business models. And therefore, they probably will not do as well as they are expected to do. And with that, I think you will really, so what's the right way therefore to good that? What is the right way to ensure that you don't fall into the trap? And the answer is a very simple answer. I think your parents would have told you, your teachers would have told you, your mentors would have told you, and I'm telling you this again, there is zero shortcut to success. You have to be good, so good that nobody can ignore you. You have to be valuable. Even if you're sweeping the floor, as they call it, you need to sweep so well that somebody misses you when you're not there. You're doing a project, let's say, you do it so well that next person comes in, they'll say, boss, somebody has missed it out. I missed this person, kind of things. It's true for our personal lives also. So understand this, that if you are so good that nobody can ignore you, I think you're starting with the right qualities. And that quality, I call it as attitude. When you have when you take up the responsibility, when you take up the initiative, and you have the desire to learn, trust me, at every point of time, you keep learning. I'll give you an example of the CEO of an organization that I also represent along with Vanguard Business School, and that is Career Launcher. You know, the entire top management of Career Launcher is now going through a specific course called the data science courses. Why is that required? Absolutely the top management, all the directors, all the CXOs, CFOs, CEOs, etc. Why is that required? Because the attitude says, look, I need to change, otherwise I'll be dead. And that's what I think we are talking about in terms of getting the attitude right. Here is where we can look at, therefore, when you have the right kind of attitude, then you look at the next level of it is what are the skills required for you to get there. Skills to do well and be a successful manager after your MBA. Not for 1 year, not for 2 years, but for the next 30 years. Good communication skills. If you have the right communication skills, when I'm using the word communication, it need not necessarily be English speaking skills. It means ability to communicate exactly what you want to communicate so that the other person understands it in the way you wanted to communicate that. It is a two-way communication, and if you have that ability to put things in a nice story kind of a perspective, I think you are doing a very, very good job. I started off saying that, look, 47% of the students don't get jobs, or only 47 get jobs, 53 don't get jobs. Clearly, this is statistics, but understanding the statistics means that more than 2 lakhs, almost close to 2 lakh MBA graduates don't get jobs. Then you should say, why should I even do an MBA? But then the reverse of it is 1.5 lakh or 1,75,000 guys are getting jobs too. And the top guys are getting jobs upwards of 6 lakhs too. So the point is not about just a good school or a bad school. If you have these skills, people will value you. The other skills that are required obviously is understanding the problems. Many a time you solve a wrong problem. Let's look at a very simple thing. Let's say you have a headache or you have a stomach ache. You have a headache, you go to the doctor and the doctor says, okay, you go and says, doctor, I have a headache. And the doctor says, okay, fine, take this anacin. Would you ever go to the doctor again? I would not go. I would not go for a simple reason unless the doctor, see, I take it on my own. If it's a normal headache, it's a different issue. But if I go to a doctor and it's been a very, very bad headache, very clearly, the guy has to do some kind of a R&D to be able to figure out whether whether the guy is having a headache because of migraine, because of stress, because of what? Because if you don't know that, you are giving a diagnosis and giving a solution without knowing what the problem is. So a very great skill that is required of a manager is problem identification and analysis. Ability to analyze it very, very well so that you pinpoint the problem, automatically you get the solution for that. No one works on their own, almost no one, including in the best of the scientists. You need help. You need help from a lot of people so that you are successful. You are successful. Hence, the other skills that one needs to pick it up are clearly the teamworking skills, teamwork, conflict management and negotiation. These three are purely management skills which are extremely important in your success. Because on a regular basis, if you are working in teams, you will be in conflict. Superiors, subordinates and peers. Inside customers, outside customers. There is a conflict going on every point of time. Having that conflict, trying to manage that conflict is what is going to make you a successful manager. I'll give you an example. Amit Shah went to meet Uddhav Thackeray. I'm talking about not management. In politics also, leaders and managers are required. Amit Shah is a great manager. Shiv Sena has been, screaming all the time that look, they don't want to go with BJP. BJP has been bad. BJP is this. We will not go with them with them in 2019s together, etc. kind of things. 20 minutes. Amit Shah spent time with Uddhav Thackeray and they came out and said, okay, we will work and we will fight the polls together for 2019. That's conflict. There is a conflict. There is no doubt about it that Shiv Sena was the bigger guy in the whole of Maharashtra. BJP became even bigger. So therefore the big brother problem is coming to picture that the BJP is trying to impose upon Shiv Sena and Shiv Sena feels very slighted. How do you conflict it? Now I am giving you an example of a live thing which most of you will understand, but trust me, every organization has these problems on a regular basis. How do we ensure that that is taken care of? And that is what makes you very, very successful in your career too. And the last one, of course, negotiation. Whether you are internal clients or external clients, business partners or with the government officials, I think every day you are in the mode of negotiation. And if you know how to negotiate well, I think you are there as successful as you can be. And that's what makes it. And all these things, if you look at the second point that I'm putting it across, you need the right kind of statistics, ability to understand statistics, ability to understand data, and Excel. Excel is MS Excel I'm talking about, to make sure that you are on the right path. In other words, it's all about the right kind of choices that one makes. I'll give you an example of two of my students who are both Saurabhs. Both of them passed out from an IIM. Saurabh Agarwal passed out of, both are Saurabh Agarwals incidentally. One of them passed out from an IIM Calcutta. One of them passed out from IIM Indore. Both of them were talented, could have worked hard. Both of them passed out with not so great GPAs also, or CGPAs, that is marks in their 12 in the 2 years of their MBA. However, one is earning a crore at Google, the other is earning about 40-45 lakhs. What is the reason for this? The reason is attitude. The reason is what they chose also. That's exactly the reason why the second point comes in, that one has to look at the new additions, which is what I've talked about, data science, data analysis, etc. The world is changing. The world is changing so fast that if you are there at the back, you will forget that people will forget that you exist. E-commerce, data sciences, data analysis has become a big thing. Big data you have heard of, but only people hear of it. Nobody wants to know what it is all about. Digital marketing, again, people talk about that. Nobody understands what needs to be done for that. Artificial intelligence is there forever now. Financial technology, education technology. In fact, look at it. There were times when seminars were not done live at all. 10 years back it started, and today most of our seminars are live. You don't have to come anywhere to listen to a seminar about how to be a successful manager. YouTube, free YouTubes are available, but more importantly, even live things are available, which is what is going to make tomorrow more and more exciting. And you as a student today, or you as an aspirational MBA tomorrow, or a manager tomorrow, has to learn what is available right now. If you don't, you will be outdated, and that's the reality. So therefore, what does one do? I would say very simple. Plan your career. Plan your career by understanding. First and foremost, there is no doubt about it that you need to get the right attitude. But understanding your strengths is very, very important. If you understand your strengths, are you a good sales guy? Are you a good operations guy? Are you a good number crunching guy? Are you a good people's manager? What are you really? And that, if you can understand, you will know and pick your core skills. Don't do it because everybody else is doing it. You don't go to financial technology if you are not a fintech guy or a finance guy. You go to something else, depending on who you are, not on what, just the entire thing. But for every one of you in this in the world, actually, not even in the country, there are opportunities available. Identify the growth sectors with your abilities, which will use your abilities. Make sure that you make 5-year plans. Don't only look at the MBA curriculum. People do Six Sigma, people do total quality management, people do digital marketing courses, people do R and Python and data science courses, etc. kind of things, or NSE certifications if you are interested in finance. Supplement your curriculum with something more. That is what will show your recruiter that you are more than interested. You are not a normal student. Don't do what you've done in your degree or your engineering. That's bad. Don't go to a corporate and say that, boss, I am a marks guy. You tell them that, look, I have these skills, I have my interest, my attitude, my enthusiasm. And once you show all these things, I think you are there much more than you can think. And with that, let me also give you what happened to some of my own students in Vanguard Business School when we started almost 7 years back. 2011 was my first batch of 2011-2013 was my first batch of Vanguard Business School. 6 of us, who all from the IIM, started this with huge information, direct connect to the industry in the corporates, understanding education also, because we were in education while doing businesses. So when we started it, we got the bunch of very, very highly skilled 35, very enthusiastic 35 kids. We have ever since, for the last 6 years, maintained our numbers at about 50-60 students, so that there could be personal mentorship to a large extent. So that, for example, yesterday one of my students of the 6th batch called up and said, "Sir, मुझे financial technologies में एक job चाहिए. I was getting in sales. What do I do?" kind of things. I think we pick up on an individual basis to figure out what one can do. In addition to this, let me tell you what has been some of the wonderful journeys for some of my students of the very first 2 batches itself. The first girl who in fact was a gold medalist at my first batch of 2013, that's exactly 5 years back. She started at a latent view. She is from Chennai, worked as a data analyst in a company called Latent View in Chennai, and started off with a 6 lakhs package, of which 5.5 or 5 lakhs was in hand, 1 lakh was in incentive. Exactly 5 years from there, she is now moved on to a role of a data scientist at a large company called Shell. Shell is there across the world, British company. She is at 17.55 lakhs. I just put 17 there. It is 17.55 lakhs. Close to 3 times the starting salary 5 years back alone. Dipankar started as a SAS executive. Today, Swiggy, all of you know it. He is a vendor manager for all the national accounts. Avinash Sairam was a Photon Infotech senior executive, now a consultant at KPMG. Sudarshan started with a credit analyst at Hong Kong Shanghai Bank, HSBC. Today he is an assistant vice president as a very boutique financial firm called Swiss Re. I mean, there are multiple. There are 35 people in my first B01 and 60 people in B02, each one of them doing fantastically well in 4 to 5 years. The reason is what I told you, what we made them learn, what we made them upskill themselves, not just to teach them knowledge, but the skills to be successful in the corporates. The communication skills, the data skills, negotiation skills, conflict management, and more importantly, making them understand how a business runs so that they can grow up the ladder faster. It's not just B01, B02 that we're talking about. My next batch of students, B03, B04, also had, and there's only 3 years into the game, mind you. It is not even that they are 10 years into the line. Rajarajan, who is an analyst at CRISIL, is now a very senior analyst at ANZ Grindlays. Vivek started off as a key account manager at a press play kind of a small startup. Today, he's a vice president at a ConvertCart, again another startup in that sense. Dheeraj started as a management trainee. Today, he also teaches at Vanguard Business School and is a digital marketing manager at Blackbuck. Each one of them doubling or 2.5 times of the salary that they were when they graduated from Vistamind, from a Vanguard Business School. Even in the latest my executives who graduated B04 was only 2 years back, by the way. B04 would have been 2017 people. Karan and Chandrika, both of them started off at Hyrie and Airtel. Hyrie has been taken over by Quicker, and Karan moved on from Quicker, and now he is a team lead at IIM Jobs. Chandrika now is an account specialist at Amazon. She started off as a relationship manager at Airtel. There are multiple such kind of wonderful profiles that we get at Vanguard Business School for a simple reason that I think the team that we have are all the IIM team which understands what needs are there for an MBA school student. More importantly, because of the connect, once they get into the companies that they get recruited from when they are in their MBA, they do a fantastic job in the 3 to 4 years of their lives, and they kind of double, triple salaries in 2 to 3 years kind of things. And that's what makes one successful. The attitude, the skill sets, and making sure that whatever is current, whatever is happening new in the place will be assimilated, digested, utilized to make sure that your work in the corporates, people recognize you. And as I said in the very beginning, so you're so good, be so good that they cannot ignore you where you are. With that very small thing, if there are questions, I will answer. I don't know how many of you have seen my name again. My name is ARKS. I am Calcutta graduate of 1997. IIM Calcutta is one of the premier institutes of management. Prior to that, I did my engineering from Osmania University College of Engineering, Hyderabad, being the founding director of Vanguard Business School way back in 2010. I think this has been an exciting 8 years of journey of Vanguard Business School. I think one of the only schools which have had a greatest track record of 100% placements every year on year since inception, in that sense, without any kind of backing from any real estate guy, any politician, etc. This is a group which has kind of people who believe in real education, and that's what we have done very, very beautifully over the last 8 years. We welcome you to join us for the 8th batch, which is starting off this July. It's a 2 years PGPM plus MBA course that we kind of deliver. MBA is university recognized, whereas PGPM is an autonomous program. The autonomous program, completely the curriculum built by the best of the brains who understand this industry, which is the reason why our students get the kind of jobs that they get. We train you to make sure that your interview skills are the best, and to make sure that once you go into the game, into the corporate game, you become a successful manager and a successful career specialist, and have a successful career in that sense. With that, let me just look at some of the questions that you might have, and let me see if any questions have come in, and I can answer that very quickly. I think there has been no questions seriously. Friends, if there are any questions, please send the same to arks@vanguardbschool.com. I'll be very happy to answer. Okay, with this I'll stop the live streaming, and I think if there is no other questions, I'll thank my friends who are in Vanguard who are taking care of this properly to make sure that, they have done a wonderful job of ensuring that you guys watched this short seminar, and I welcome all of you to join Vanguard Business School for the 2-year program. You can be rest assured of a very, very strong career. Thank you so much. Wish you all the very best.